This walking tour of Willenhall and Bilston music history locations starts here at the former St Giles Youth Club, which opened in 1897 and didn't close until 2002. That's 105 years. The youth club's most famous point is probably in the late 1960s and early 1970s, when it was run by a local man called John Squire, not the Stone Roses guitarist. From late 1964, it hosted early rehearsals and gigs for the band The In-Betweens, which was a precursor band to Slade, through their name change in 1969 to Ambrose Slade and then to Slade when they began their peak chart success. A 1975 article suggested that Slade snubbed St Giles when they were asked to play there following their success. It was all a mix-up as the request had been missed by the band's management. The band couldn't perform as they were going to America to tour, but sent albums as raffle prizes for an event that took place. In the 1980s, a very popular club called Sammy's was held here, but there's very little information about it other than it being a night when a DJ played soul music. The In-Between's official fan club mailing address was also here, just under 4 miles away from Wolverhampton, which is usually regarded as the place of the band's origin, but my other videos will show you their other routes too. The youth club isn't the only old building here. The Prince of Wales across the road hasn't seen much business for a while. Along the 5-minute walk to the next location, we pass St Giles Church. The St Giles Youth Club building has been part of the St Giles School since 2017. That's a lot of St Giles in one small area. We're now passing the County Pub, which has also been known to host live music over the decades, and we can see our next location, now called the Willows. It is a banqueting hall for private functions and the former Willenhall Baths, also known as the Assembly Hall or Willenhall Baths Assembly Hall, and later known as the Willenhall Leisure Centre, which closed in 2010. Back in the 60s and 70s, there seemed to be a thing where they would cover indoor swimming pools and host live music, which is what happened here at what was known as the Locarno Ballroom. The venue kindly gave me access inside their beautiful space to show you the room where some huge names performed. The In-Betweens played here numerous times. After one particular date, they changed their name to Ambrose Slade the next day, then played here in 1970 and once more in 1971 when they changed their name to Slade. It's said that it was here that In-Between drummers Don Powell asked Noddy Holder to officially join him and Dave Hill in their band, the In-Betweens. Trapeze featuring Glenn Hughes, who went on to front Deep Purple, played here on the 3rd of March 1970. April 11th, 1968, John Mayall and the Blues Breakers played on this stage. All these concerts were organised by the earlier mentioned John Squires and the youth club leaders who ran the St Giles Youth Club where we've just came from. On 20th of October 1966, the In-Betweens also played on a bill with Cream, whose guitarist was Eric Clapton, and also on that lineup was a band called Listen with vocalist Robert Plant, pre-Led Zeppelin. This was an event called the Carnival Dance. Arguably the most famous performance to take place on this stage was on the 5th of February 1964 when the Rolling Stones' original classic lineup came to Willenhall to perform. Their second British tour commenced 3 days later on the 8th of February in London, and this seems to be a standalone show that took place as it's not listed with the rest of the tour's dates. The night is famously remembered for Mick Jagger hiding in local taxi driver Henry Constable's taxi to escape a mob of girls, yelling "Save me from the girls" before quickly exiting the other side of the car. Here is more something for very local Willenhall memories. Half a mile away at the former location of the Alcatraz Rock Club that hosted live music from the late 1990s until closing in 2011. The signs for the club were up until around August 2020. The first time I felt the impact of a loud rock band was seeing an AC/DC tribute here. We were definitely underage and we definitely struggled to get down the stairs after. Another half a mile away is Willenhall Memorial Park, which opened in 1923 as a memorial park for World War II victims. Lockstock Music Festival has been taking place here since 2017, featuring live music by tribute and original artists. The Boston Brass Band, a 13-year-old New Orleans-style brass group, famously led the funeral procession for Ozzy Osbourne in his hometown of Birmingham. They played here at Lockstock the following month. The bandstand here is also a central focus point for music events. The In-Betweens played here on the 29th of May 1965. 1 mile away we're at the former Longacres Pub, which was converted in 2013 into a Hindu temple. I actually had my 21st birthday party in this room, where I debuted my first ever band with original material, not knowing the history of the building. Bands rehearsed here and live music was played here from the 1960s. During a period it was known as a mod pub, with a scooter club riding Vespers and Lambrettas. Trapeze featuring Glenn Hughes, who went on to play in Deep Purple, played here on the 29th January, 31st of March and the 26th of May 1970. Slade also played as their success began to rise on the 17th of February 1970. The 1980s discotheque and mod Northern Soul scene held massive weekend events here, with pop and rhythm and blues artists spinning tunes on vinyl or performing live. Then right next door, I'm not sure if they know the history, but I like to think they do. 1 mile away and we've left Willenhall and made it to Bilston. This is the first Bilston Scout hut, where an 11-year-old Don Powell learned to play drums, making his first moves towards becoming the drummer for Slade. Don said in an interview that he wanted to learn the drums as soon as he saw the drum kit here, but he was told he needed to learn the bugle first, which didn't work out, and he moved to drums anyway, joining a band called the Vendors, who future Slade guitarist Dave Hill joined when their guitarist left. The hut deserves a plaque for its music history, but also for surviving here since the early 1950s, despite all the land around it being completely redeveloped, including an entire leisure centre with a swimming pool and a child daycare centre being demolished, and a new housing estate being built around it. The hut has still survived. A 5-minute walk across Bilston Town brings us to the main entrance of the 700 capacity live music venue, the Robin. Known for decades as the Robin 2 R&B Club, due to it being the second location of a club that was originally 8 miles away in Brierley Hill, Dudley. This venue opened in 1998 and has hosted many famous original names across the years, including Robert Plant, Elvis's first guitarist Scotty Moore, and on a separate occasion Elvis's backing bands during his Las Vegas shows, the TCB Band. John Mayall and the Blues Breakers, Midge, Dogs D'Amour, who are from Wolverhampton, The Damned, Anti-Nowhere League, Glenn Hughes, Choir Boys, 10 Years After, Blue Oyster Cult, Chakra Khan, John Bonamassa, Chaz and Dave, Pat Travers, Jefferson Starship, 10cc, Misfits, Sweet, Diamond Head, Canned Heat, Love, Ian Hunter, Fish, Wishbone Ash, The Stranglers, Mountain, Manfred Mann's Earth Band, Y&T, Billy Ocean, Magnum, Focus, local blues lady Joanne Shaw Taylor, Mac Lads, Guns N' Roses drummer Stephen Adler, John Lydon brought his spoken word event here in 2025. The list goes on and on. Over on that patch of grass, from 1902 to the end of 1961, stood the 1,380-seat Theatre Royal, where, in 1942, a 14-year-old Bruce Forsyth made his stage debut, launching a 75-year career in stage and television. Performing as Bruce Boy, the Mighty Atom, he sang, danced and played the accordion. Mostly autumn, and Dr. Feelgood seemed to hold the record for the most performances here at the Robin. Jim Lee from Slade performed here solo on the 5th of November 2017 at an official screening of the Jim Lee live solo DVD, followed by a live Q&A session where he discussed his time with Slade. The version of Slade with Don Powell and Dave Hill have played here multiple times, but never the original 4 Slade members together. As far as tribute artists go, it would be easy to say what there hasn't been a tribute to on the Robin stage, covering every genre across the decades. The most famous may be the Australian Pink Floyd show. The venue has its own hotel attached as well as a pre-show bar called Woody's Bar, named after Roy Wood, member and co-founder of the Move Electric Light Orchestra and Wizard, even though he's from Birmingham. A few minutes walk down the road brings us to Bilston Town Hall, officially opened on the 14th of June 1873. The Grade 2 listed venue closed in 1996 to undergo a £2.5 million restoration project before reopening on the 19th of September 2008 with a traditional dance. A newly restored 1935 pipe organ was also acquired the year before. Local author John Freeman had a plaque attached by the Black Country Society on the 22nd of August 2017. This is the foundation stone of the building laid on the 2nd of April 1872. For performances and functions, Bilston Town Hall has two main rooms: the Alderman Suite, which can hold up to 50 guests, and the ballroom on the first floor, which can accommodate up to 250 guests for ceremonies or 160 for receptions and evening celebrations. From what I could find listed, the venue hosts more soft and stripped-back performances, acoustic guitars, spoken word events by musicians, and combinations of the two. Slade, while called the In-Betweens, played here 5th February 1966, 2nd September 1967, 10th of May and the 5th of October 1968, so it's some very early gigs for them. The Band of Joy, which contained future Led Zeppelin members Robert Plant and John Bonham, played here on the 31st of May and the 10th of June 1967. The punk poet John Cooper Clarke performed here on the 19th of February 2019. There is the famous Major's Fish and Chip shop at one end of Bilston High Street, very close to the town hall, famous for its orange chips, orange being the colour of the batter they are coated in. Sex Pistols and Public Image Limited frontman John Lydon indulged and enjoyed in some of these chips when playing a sold-out Robin gig in 2025, noting they were the same colour as his jumper. It's a 6-minute walk from Bilston Town Hall to our next location, and this is what it looks like on a market day. Opposite our location is a Greyhound and Punch Bowl, which has hosted live music over the years, but currently stands derelict due to arson. The Trumpet is the reason we're here though, which dates back to the 1830s. Jazz was played here by owner Les Megson over his speaker system at high volume in the late 1950s, just because he loved jazz. Local pianist and multi-instrumentalist Tommy Burton lived over the road and heard this, offering to play jazz for free. He actually got paid via donations on a collection tray passed around the pub. A collection tray still passed around for the various musicians who play at the pub 7 nights a week. Pianist Reg Curley joined him, creating jam sessions where anybody could join in, which is still something that happens at the pub now. This blue plaque was placed on the building on the 20th of August 2014 to honour Tommy. The Trumpet was a regular stomping ground for the 4 members of Slade, so much so that it is known as their official fan club base. Fans still gather here for Slade conventions, and so many have happened it would take an entire video to detail them all. Tommy Burton appears on Find Yourself a Rainbow, the 4th track of Slade's 1974 album Old, New, Borrowed and Blue. Slade attended a major album launch party at the Trumpet for their 12th studio album, Rogues Gallery, on the 21st of March 1985. Here in the Trumpet, left to right, are Don Powell, Noddy Holder, Reg Curley and Tommy Burton. A 3-minute drive away is what used to be the location of Tarmac, where Dave Hill worked after leaving school up until Slade's fame began to ascend. It's now a teaching academy. Between 1971 and 1974, Slade achieved 12 top 5 hit singles in the UK. 3 of them went straight to number 1. In 1973 alone, Merry Christmas Everybody sold over 1 million copies globally, obtaining gold disc status. Long live the trumpet and long live Slade. Find all of these locations and more using Music Map, the most advanced music history app in the world right now. I'll leave a link in the description to this video. Also subscribe to the channel to make sure you see all of the upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.